Magic the Gathering, a game full of chaos and limitless combos. People can do almost anything that they want. And in 2018, the Magic the Gathering Arena was. This was a game that limited the combos and made it a little more balanced. However, many new combos were found and were brought into the game this way. In response, the people at Magic started to ban specific cards for Arena to make it a little more balanced. This created a meta and made it very competitive to see which deck rises to the top and stays at the top. Many decks cycled through very quickly, and not many decks from the original period still exist. This series is to find out what types of decks it might become the best of the decks, and to test these decks and how capable they actually are. It's also to test what the community says on how the deck actually performed. For example, if a deck is taken to many tournaments online and won quite a bit, and the community reflects positively on the deck, it's believable. However, if there is a deck that has really never went to any tournaments and really has never performed well, and the community reflects the same way positively on the deck, it becomes less believable. So that's what we're here for, to figure out what are the best decks for multiple formats. Welcome to Climbing the Ranks. Welcome back to yet another episode of Climbing the Ranks, and today we have a commander, another historic Brawl deck. Well, and our commander is Lord Xander the Collector. Yes, this is a heavy cost to pay, but for the prices that we get back from it, it is quite insane. So yes, like I just said, it is a 7-drop. However, the amount of benefit we get from this card is crazy. So that when it enters a battlefield, they discard half the cards in their hand, rounded down. All of these are going to be rounded down, by the way. And then when it attacks, the defending player mills half their deck, which is crazy, and there might be a little bit of a win con in here with another card. And then when it dies, they have to sacrifice half of the non-land permanents that they control rounded down. So it's quite insane. When it enters, you get a bunch of plus because, well, they have to discard basically half their hand, and then they mill a bunch of cards really quickly, and then they die. So the entire deck is about basing it around that abilities and also getting it out there as quickly as possible. So let's just jump right in. First, we've got a null. Like I said, it's kind of control-esque because our commander is so big, so we need to get things, well, out of the way before we get Lord Xander out there. Ascendant Spirit, it can just be buffed up really quickly. Essence Flux to get another Lord Xander trigger. Ruin Crab to mill a bunch. Spell Pierce to same thing as a null. Wash Away, one of the best counter cards for this type of format. Bone Shards, it's just destruction to get things out of the way. Knight of Ebon Legend, it's to just destroy things and be a stupidly good 1-drop. Sticky Fingers, yes, I'm playing this card in here. I'm playing quite a bit of treasures just because Lord Xander takes so much to get out there, and it's that kind of card. Stone Coil Serpent, it's just a defender. And onto the 2-drops. Essence Scatter, creatures, Iceberg Cancrix. It's similar to Ruined Crab, but you only get a mill 2. Maddening Cacophony, they mill half their deck if we kick it, or they mill 8 cards if it wasn't kicked. Negate for countering, Planar Incision, similar to Essence Flux. Chainer's Edict to sacrifice, Doomblade to kill, Infernal Grasp to kill, Sudden Edict to sacrifice, Expressive Iteration, it's like at 18,000 for 1, or for 2 I should say. It's a really good card. Arcane Signet for ramp, Coastal Heart for ramp, Ecologists Terrarium, I don't know why I said Terrarium for ramp, Environmental Sciences for ramp, Guardian Angel or Guardian Idol for ramp, Mind Stone for ramp, and Meathook Massacre for a really good board wipe. Brewvac to win with Lord Xander's second ability. It's quite crazy. Psychic Corrosion to mill. Teferi's Tutorage to draw and mill. Didn't Say Please to counter and mill. Same as Thought Collapse. Varagoth to tutor. Exhibition Magician for creating treasures and creatures if we really need it. Zorn to create double the treasures. Bontu's Monument to decrease Xander and get effects. Same with Hazards and Kefnets. Palladium Mirror for the same thing as all of the other things. It's just ramp. Replicating Ring for ramp. Skyclave Relic for ramp. Pirate's Prize to create a treasure and to draw cards. Thasidic Dwelling to get triggers off of Xander every turn. Undercover Operative to make copies of Xander or anything else that we need, Grim Bounty to create treasures and destroying things, Storm Kiln Artist, we have a lot of instant and sorcery, so we can create a lot of treasures using this, Big Score to draw cards and create treasures, Hoarding Ogre to create treasures, Unexpected Windfall to draw cards and create treasures, Cosmos Elixir, it gains us life, which we want in this deck because we don't have a whole lot of life gain, and this is our main thing that we can stay alive with. Onto the 5-drops, Revel in Riches, because we're creating a lot of treasures, and this could be a win con. Eldest Reborn for annoyance. Tegrid, because we're making them discard and sacrifice a lot of things, and stealing it is really, really fun. Goldspan Dragon to create treasures. Shark Typhoon, we have almost all of our deck is non-creatures, and it creates a bunch of sharks. Cut Your Losses, it's basically Xander's second ability, and we can activate it twice if we sack something with 2 or higher power. Bolus the Citadel, it's basically a win con. Shieldred, it's Shieldred, I don't really need to explain this. Onto the lands, we're running 40. 11 snow-covered swamps, 11 snow-covered islands, 10 snow-covered swamps, 8 snow-covered mountains, a Clearwater Pathway, Temple of Deceit, Riverglide Pathway, Steam Vents, Blightstep Pathway, Haunted Ridge, Evolving Wilds, Fabled Passage, Terramorphic Expanse, and Maestro's Theater. That's about it. It's basically just control a whole bunch and win from there, and that's really it. Let's go into the games. Game 1, our hand is looking, well, pretty good. We don't have a black land, but we do have Play Dim Mirror, and we do have enough land to cast it, and that's pretty much the reason why I kept it. Also, we have a Thought Collapse and an Undercover Operative in case things go a little crazy. We're going against Tiamat. We say hello to him, but he doesn't say hello back, like most dragon players. Wait, I just drew a Goldspan Dragon. Never mind about that. He has a Fearsome Whelp. Of course, he gets it. Basically, dragons start casting for free, or really, really little. And we draw a little bit of a, well, terrarium. Cosmos Elixir comes down, we're going to gain some life and get a Scry. The Cosmos Elixir on Arena is quite OP. He gets Solemn Simulacrum, he's going to swing for 1, we get a black land. We're going to do Ecologist's Terrarium, and we're going to grab another mountain so we can cast a nice little Goldspan Dragon. But however, next turn, since we just cast the Undercover Operative on Play Dim Mirror, we can get Lord Xander out there on pretty much turn 4 or turn 5 for us anyways. This is going to be kind of crazy. He gets Solemn Simulacrum, and we're going to do Lord Xander here. He discards no cards because he only has 1 card in his hand, and it's rounded down, sadly. I wish it was rounded up. Dragon Speaker Shaman comes out there. Here comes Tiamat because it's really, really cheap with Dragon Speaker Shaman. He gets to search for 5 dragons that are not named Tiamat, but in Commander, it doesn't really matter. We're going to do a Zorn here and a Goldspan Dragon. We're not going to attack with the Goldspan Dragon, we're going to attack with Xander just to get in some mill. He is going to kill it, obviously, but just to get 2 more creatures out there and a creature with flying in case he buffs his Tiamat to crazy. However, he sacrifices it off of Lord Xander's dying trigger. This deck is very good. He gets Firemind Vessel out there to get more mana ramp. Siege Dragon comes out without any triggers, and we're gonna make him, well, we're gonna do Lord Xander again. Yeah, we need to get it. We need to get his hand down quite a bit. He discards Old Gnawbone and something else. I did not see the other one, and we do have a Sudden Edict. Just in case we want to do something, we're gonna make him do it right now because he has no blockers for it. And we created up treasure tokens, and we're also going to do Bone Shards on the Siege Dragon, discarding a Thought Collapse. Now he only has all 2/2 out there. That just makes his things cost less. Bladewing the Risen comes out here. That's not much of a problem right now. Hopefully he has an artifact or enchantment or non-creature spell that he casts. He says good game because he knows I'm going to win. And we win right there. Game 2. Our hand is looking really, really good. And we're going against Gretchen Titchwillow, I believe is how you pronounce that. We have a pretty good hand here. We don't have a red mana to cast Hoarding Ogre to get treasures off of. However, we do have immediate answers for things like their commander, and he plays a Spectral Sailor. We have answers with Bone Shards, and his commander, which I don't think is going to be too much of a problem. It's just quite a bit of a draw outlet. He plays a tap land, and we're going to pass back to him to see if he's going to play his commander this turn. He probably is, unless he gets something else like a Zuza, which is a possibility, and I'm not sure what he's doing. He does play his commander here, and it's kind of a problem. I rather get Varragoth here than kill the commander, because I'd kind of rather save the bone shards for a little bit later in case we need it then. The Dean of Theory, I believe, is the one that he just played, and we're going to do Hoarding Ogre. We're not going to attack with Varragoth, the Blood Sky Sire. We're going to hold it off for a little bit, and there's our bone shards target with Elder Gargaroth. Or we can Grim Bounty it to get a treasure, which would be kind of nice, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to Grim Bounty it, then we're going to attack with both, immediately getting a treasure, at least one, and we're going to be able to boast Varragoth, the Blood Sky Sire, and we're going to get any card that we want. This card is very, very good. That's why it's in here. I mean, what can I say? I'm going to grab a Stone Coil Serpent here just because in case he gets too much of a big board, it's kind of there, and we also can deal with his flyer. I don't know if we're going to cast it next turn because we'll be able to boast with Varragoth again if we need to, or if we draw another land, or wait, we do have another land, we can cast Bolas's Citadel, which would be pretty nice to have with Varragoth. And we could get lucky to get any card we want and cast it for free with Bolas's Citadel and Varragoth. Let's just see how this kind of plays out. He's taken a little bit. He's probably in not the best position. Yes, this deck doesn't need Xander, but it's sort of like the icing on the cake. It's really just kind of seals the deal. It's just the best card. It finishes the game for us when it comes out there, and it does a lot of things. And hopefully we can get it out this game. I believe we'll be able to, as long as we get to keep Varragoth. We can tutor for lands if we really need to, but I think we're in a really good position here. He doesn't have many things that's going to do damage. Sure, he is going to get probably 4 in this turn, but it doesn't really matter, and he passes. I think he's a little scared. We're going to do Bone Shards. Yeah, we're going to do Bone Shards targeting the Dean of whatever Theory, and then we're going to cast Bone Coil. Stone Coil Serpent. We're going to get 2 treasures, and we're going to boast Varragoth once again. Yes, we could have saved the treasure, but I'd rather get something like Shieldred and maybe get some triggers off of it. I may have been the better move to save the Shieldred just to get it off of Bolas's Citadel. However, I still think this is the better play because, well, I get a Shieldred, and what can I complain about that? Yes, I don't get to play it next turn, or if there was a next turn. Game 3, our hand is looking, well, really good. We're going against the new Obnixilis, the adversary. That's kind of scary. I did decide to keep this hand because we saw the Ecologist's Terrarium in our hand. Why can I not pronounce that card? Waste Knot's coming down, okay. And we're going to do a Replicating Ring. We have 5, we actually have 6 mana to deal with because of our other snow-covered island in our hand. Waste Knot triggers, he gets to draw a card. We're going to play the island, and we're also going to play the Goldspan Dragon, getting us another treasure so we can cast Xander next turn. And let's see. Xander comes out there, or we'll be able to cast Xander, and that's going to be kind of scary, I should say. And we're going to cast Xander here. We're going to just make him discard half his hand, which will be 2 cards, and he discards 2. The Waste Knot sadly does not trigger on yourself. That's Bone Miser. That's a completely different card. I don't know if it's quite a lot worse unless you're making a deck that makes you discard, which I'm not sure why you would want to do that unless you're running something like a Madness deck. Grim Tutor, he's searching for 1 card, loses 3 life. That's kind of an advantage for us, hopefully anyways. And I don't know what I should do here. I think I'm going to big score, and he's going to be able to get a trigger off of the Waste Knot because we had to discard a card. And then I think I'm going to do a Mind Stone here and a Psychic Corrosion, and we're going to attack the Planeswalker, killing it. And let's see what he's going to be able to do here. He has 5 cards in his hand, 5 lands, so he can cast his commander. He could have cast it on turn 3 if he really wanted to, but he has no casualty targets to get anything with it. We don't have enough to cast or counter the Thought Collapse, or not Thought Collapse. We don't have enough to counter using Thought Collapse, so he does get the Rise Again for free. Replicating Ring triggers. We do get another thing off of it. I don't really need it right now. We're going to do Mind Stone, hopefully not draw a land, and we do. Psychic Corrosion is going to trigger. It's just going to make him mill more cards. Ecologist Terrarium triggers, and we get to put a +1/+1 counter on Xander. Then we're going to attack. He's going to mill a bunch more cards. Hopefully he doesn't block, which he doesn't, surprisingly. That's kind of just, I was kind of joking. We're going to counter the Eldest Reborn. We don't really want to deal with that, and he scoops right there. Game 4. Hand is looking really, really good. We have quite a bit of mana to work with Skyclave Relic, and we have an answer to his Marrow-Gnar. Rats suck. I think I need to get rid of the Pack Rat right now because that card can get ridiculous, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to ramp a little bit first and going to discard the Cut Your Losses because that's not going to do much work until we get like Xander or something out there that can use it. We do get a Shark Typhoon, yet I think the best play here is we're going to discard the Environmental Sciences, allowing us to cast, hopefully, yeah, we'll be able to cast Xander next turn, hopefully if he doesn't destroy anything. And Rat Colony comes out there. That card's also a pain in the butt. And luckily we have the Blood on the Snow, and we just drew the card that answers this entire deck, Meathook Massacre. Yes, Fear is kind of crazy, but in Lord Xander, which he's black, it doesn't really do anything. So we're going to be able to block it with something, and I think he's probably going to give it haste with Crashing Drawbridge and just going to sacrifice it and create another one. Fair, I guess. We're going to attack with Xander, going to mill him a bunch of cards, and let's see what he's going to do with it. Nothing. Not surprising, and we're going to do a Meathook Massacre. I'm going to use a 3. We couldn't have done 4, and he scoops right there. It's okay. Game 5, our hand is looking also very good here. We have a nice ramp with Terramorphic Expanse, and a Cold Steel Heart, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to search for a swamp, because we already have an island. And we're going to do Cold Steel Heart, going for blue, because all of our cards in our hand is blue. That's the other way around. Big Score is going to trigger here. We're going to discard the Essence Flux because we don't really care about it. We're going against Hapatra, I believe is how you pronounce that card, Vizier of Poisons. So it's a lot of -1/-1 counters. However, our deck isn't really based around that. So I guess we don't have to worry about it. Anyways, our hand is still really nice here. We're kind of sitting on some cards. We're going to do a swamp, and we'll be able to get Xander out there immediately. We're going to make him discard 2 cards unless he plays one, which he doesn't. We're going to make him discard 2. We're going to see what he discarded. Swarm Guildmate and something else. Any Binding of the Old Gods, our commander. That kind of sucks, but I don't really know why he would even do that, because our Lord Xander triggers and he has to sacrifice 2. It's probably going to be Snake and the Binding of the Old Gods, surprisingly. Okay, that's perfectly fine. He's going to swing with 3. We have a Planar Incision. That's pretty good, but we're going to do Cosmos Elixir here to probably gain some life. And, yeah, we'll do the Cosmos Elixir here. We'll save the Planar Incision for something else. We have the Pirate's Prize on top of our deck, so our hand is looking pretty good. And we'll be able to draw next turn, and maybe we might be able to cast Xander. I highly doubt it, and we're going to be able to counter that, because that gets very annoying very quickly. His deck's kind of shut off with Hapatra not being able to put -1/-1 counters on our creatures, and he doesn't put anything on the Festering Mummy. We're going to do Pirate's Prize here, drawing us a couple cards and creating a treasure. We're going to Doomblade the 3/1 because that's kind of getting annoying. I think I'll save it for later, actually, in case he gets something out there. It's not really doing much. It's dealing us a little bit of damage, but we're not in that bad of a situation right now. And in case he gets something that's ridiculous, we'll save it for later. And we also have a Grim Bounty if that card really becomes a threat, and we can cast it now because we have another black mana. However, I think we're going to go for the Lord Xander play because, well, wait, we can't go for the Lord Xander play because he costs a lot more. Because he decided to counter it or kill it or something he did to it. That kind of sucks. And we're going to do that on Festering Mummy to make him do it on something else. We're going to Grimm's Bounty on it and make sure that he targets one of his things because he probably won't, and he does surprisingly on nothing. And we're going to kill that too, leaving him only with a 1-1, sadly. And we do have the planar incision in case he makes a ridiculous big token, but I highly doubt that he will because of how this deck is built. And he has a lot of cards that are just kind of waiting to spark out there. Hapatra Vizier Poisons puts another -1/-1 on itself, and then he creates the snake, and then he tries to get it out there, but he didn't ever say please, so it has to be countered. I was going to do an emote there, but I felt like it was going to be a little bit too mean, so we're going to do the planar incision here, and we won't be able to cast Undercover Operative because we have no valid target, so it will just kill itself. And he's going to cast Hapatra again, and we could do it if we really wanted to, but Xander just looks way better. So we're going to make him discard one card, hopefully. Yep, we do, and we're going to do Cosmos Elixir. We're going to put the Unexpected Windfall at the bottom because I would like to have an Undercover Operative in my hand, and just to copy a Lord Xander and make him sacrifice things in case he played something, which he didn't. We're going to copy the Lord Xander. We're going to keep the one with the shield counter. Yes, I don't get the attack trigger, but I do get the other trigger, so we're going to make him discard hopefully one card, unless he has something that's an instant, which he does, so we're not going to make him discard anything, but he does have to sacrifice at least one permanent, and he does there with the snake. Let's see if he drew something good that can out him from the situation. Yes, he did put a -1/-1 counter on my Lord Xander the Collector with a little bit of a Hapatra move, but, well, not the Hapatra, the little instant that he played there. We're going to grab a island or swamp. Why do I mix those two up? That one just kind of looks like an island. I'm going to grab a swamp of Environmental Sciences just to gain a couple more life, attack him for 5. Hopefully he doesn't block. If he does with Death Touch, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I think it's just going to remove the shield counter and kill the creature before it actually does damage to us. And I think we're in a very good spot right now. And just as long as Xander stays on the field, even if it's like a 2/2 or whatever he does to it, we still get the triggers off of him milling a bunch of cards. And Teferi's Tutelage just looks really good right there. So that's what we're going to keep. And hopefully he gets another cycled card, which we don't really care about. That's probably what he drew for turn. He needed more cards that will do stuff, but he doesn't have anything that can do anything. So from here, the situation's kind of weird. Hapatra triggers again, he's just going to do his standard. I mean, that makes sense. But we also have a Xander in our hand. In case we get mana off of this, we draw a card, discard it, because we don't have any other triggers. He's down to 18 cards in his deck, so next turn we're going to make him mill 8, and we get a Take Rid. We just want that for the extra blocker out there, kind of, if he attacks with Hapatra, and he probably will. Honorary Kudu comes out there. That's fine. He puts a -1/-1 counter on itself to get another snake token. However, it can't attack. And let's see if he's going to be able to do anything. Pollen Bright Druid comes out there, proliferating all the counters on everything except the Hapatra. And he puts another -1/-1 counter on Lord Xander. That's perfectly fun. And we're going to cast Lord Xander again. We're going to keep the 6/6. We're going to make him sacrifice half of his permanents because the discard trigger won't trigger. And he goes down quite a bit here. We have a Take Rid for next turn, and hopefully we get something that makes him discard or sacrifice. He cycles Haze of Pollen, surprisingly, but it's not like we're going to make him discard or... Well, it's not like we're going to kill him with damage. We're just going to kill him with milling him out, which is just kind of funny. He's just digging deeper to see if he has answers for Xander, which I don't think he does in this entire game. Hopefully, Xander stays alive if he has anything that will kill it, but I don't think he does. And besides, we have Take Rid for next turn anyways. We're going to make him mill some more cards. Take Rid comes out there, Replicating Ring comes out there. We're going to make him mill a lot more. He has 6 cards left in his deck. Hopefully, he has something that might be able to deal with some, like Take Rid. He has to sacrifice another 2 permanents, and we have game next turn in case... Well, unless he kills us, which is not a high thing. Meat Hook Massacre killing the Take Rid, but I don't think he knows that we can kill him from this point here. He goes down to 1. We're just going to do the regular Maddening Cacophony, play Bullets to Citadel. We're going to scry it, and we win the game. So, overall, the deck performed really, really well. Yeah, there was some cards that were a little slower than I thought they would be, but overall, it performed really good. I thought the deck would be a lot slower having a 7-drop commander, but it wasn't that slow with the amount of ramp that we have, and making things that were a lot cheaper using the monuments was really cool. Also, the card that played the most in this game was surprisingly Stonecoil Serpent. That did the most was just because it has protection from multicolored and reach, what makes it kind of crazy, and also trample if we get to attack with it. So having like a 7/7 or a 6/6 or even a 5/5 with trample and being able to have protection from multicolored, which most commanders are multicolored, it becomes quite insane on how much damage it can deal and how much a pain it can do. Also, the treasures in this, I thought they were not going to perform as well as they did, and they performed very well. And yeah, that's basically the deck. Overall, it won all of our games, and over a 10 game period, it won around 9 out of 10, which is really good. The only deck that I seemed to lose to was Angels, because they have a lot of flyers and they kind of outpaced me a little bit, and it was Giada. That card is so good right now. Also, sadly, we never really got to see it, but Expressive Iteration, that card, I don't know why it ever became a card, and I don't know why it's still legal, because having basically drawing 2 cards and being able to look at the top 3 is kind of crazy. And yeah, it is banned in 3 formats, and also in real life in, I believe, Pioneer, so maybe we'll be able to see some things with that. But overall, the deck was really good. And yeah, if you enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of this month, and there will be a deck list in the description. Thank you for watching.